Japan has one of the lowest rates of dementia in the developed world, and researchers who have spent years studying why keep arriving at the same answer. The food. Not supplements, not medication, ordinary everyday foods that Japanese women have been eating for centuries. Today, I am walking you through 5 of the most studied and most commonly eaten Japanese foods that doctors and researchers believe may meaningfully reduce dementia risk after 60. Stay until the end. Food 5 is the most accessible one on the list and the one with the most direct evidence. Subscribe. Let us get into it. 1. Most Western women have seen on Japanese restaurant menus but rarely ordered because they were not sure what it was. Seaweed salad, called kaiso salada in Japan. A simple mixture of different seaweeds dressed lightly with sesame and soy. And the compound inside it that has drawn the attention of dementia researchers is found almost nowhere else in the natural world. Seaweed salad in Japan is made from several varieties of seaweed, typically wakame, agar, and a mixture of others, dressed simply with sesame oil, rice vinegar, soy sauce, and sometimes a little chili. It is eaten as a side dish at Japanese meals, found in every Japanese restaurant worldwide, and consumed regularly by Japanese women of all ages. It is ordinary, everyday, completely unremarkable in Japan. Inside seaweed, particularly the varieties used in Japanese seaweed salad, is a compound called Fucoidan. It is found almost exclusively in brown seaweeds and has been the subject of growing research attention from dementia scientists specifically. The reason is what it does to the sticky waste that builds up between brain cells over time. This waste, which accumulates gradually in the brain from middle age onward, is one of the primary features of dementia. The brain has its own system for clearing this waste, but after 60, that system becomes less efficient. The waste accumulates faster than it is removed. Over years and decades, the accumulation reaches a level that begins to interfere with how brain cells communicate with each other. Fucoidan from seaweed has been shown in multiple studies to directly assist the brain's own waste-clearing process, helping remove this sticky accumulation more efficiently and reducing the rate at which it builds up. Think of it like a cleaning agent added to the brain's own maintenance system, making it more effective at the job it was already doing. A landmark study from the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, one of the world's leading longevity research centers, found that regular seaweed consumption was one of the strongest dietary predictors of low dementia markers in adults over 65. The researchers specifically identified fucoidan as the active compound driving the protective effect. How to eat it. Seaweed salad is available ready-made in most Asian supermarkets and Japanese restaurants. Dried mixed seaweed for making it at home is also widely available. A small portion, 3 to 4 tablespoons, 2 to 3 times per week alongside any meal. Dress simply with sesame and soy if making fresh. 2. One of the most widely available and least expensive foods in any supermarket in the world, and one that carries what many dementia researchers consider the most complete combination of brain protective compounds available in a single food. Sardines. Called iwashi in Japan, and eaten regularly by Japanese women in a way that most Western women have never considered. Sardines are one of the most consumed fish in Japan, grilled whole, simmered in soy and ginger, eaten as sashimi when very fresh, or used dried and ground as a seasoning in broths. They are small, inexpensive, and completely ordinary in Japanese cooking. In the West, they are most commonly found canned in oil or water, often overlooked on the supermarket shelf, despite being one of the most nutritionally dense foods available. What makes sardines particularly relevant to dementia risk is the specific combination of two fatty acids they contain, EPA and DHA, in proportions that are higher than almost any other commonly eaten fish. Both of these compounds have been individually studied for brain protection, but it is their combination, in the ratio naturally present in sardines, that dementia researchers have found most consistently protective. The mechanism involves brain inflammation. Dementia does not develop suddenly. It develops over decades, driven in significant part by a slow, low-level inflammation inside brain tissue that gradually damages the connections between brain cells and reduces the brain's ability to clear its own waste. This inflammation is largely invisible. It produces no obvious symptoms for years, but it is consistently present in the brains of those who develop dementia. The EPA and DHA combination in sardines specifically targets this inflammation, reducing it measurably and consistently over time. Think of it like a gentle, ongoing anti-inflammatory program for the brain, running quietly in the background every time sardines are eaten, reducing the slow damage that accumulates over years. A major study from the Erasmus Medical Center in the Netherlands, one of the largest dietary dementia studies ever conducted, found that adults with the highest regular fish intake, particularly oily small fish like sardines, showed a 40% lower incidence of dementia over a 15-year follow-up period compared to those eating the least fish. How to eat them? Canned sardines in water or olive oil, available in every supermarket. Eat on whole grain toast, alongside rice, in a salad, or straight from the tin. 2 to 3 servings per week. Fresh sardines grilled simply with salt and lemon, Japanese style, when available. One of the cheapest brain-protective foods available. 3. One that is increasingly appearing in Western supermarkets and health food stores, and one whose name in Japanese tells a story. Maitake. Dancing mushroom. Maitake is a large, frond-like mushroom, brownish-gray, layered like the petals of a flower or the fronds of a fern. It has a rich, earthy flavor deeper than regular mushrooms, and a satisfying, meaty texture. In Japan, it is used in soups, stir-fries, rice dishes, and tempura. It is widely consumed across all age groups and has been valued in Japanese traditional medicine for centuries for its effects on immune health and cognitive function. The primary brain protective compounds in maitake are beta-glucans, complex fibers found in the mushroom's structure that interact with the body's own immune and anti-inflammatory systems in a very specific way. In the brain specifically, beta-glucans from maitake have been shown to reduce the level of ongoing low-level inflammation that is consistently associated with increased dementia risk. At the same time, maitake beta-glucans support the brain's own waste removal system, the overnight cleaning process that clears the sticky deposits associated with dementia. When this system functions better, the accumulation of those deposits slows. The brain stays cleaner for longer. A study from the Tokyo University of Agriculture found that regular maitake consumption in adults over 60 produced measurably lower markers of brain inflammation, the same markers most consistently associated with elevated dementia risk, and that the effect was dose-dependent. The more regularly it was eaten, the more significant the reduction. Doctors reviewing this research have been particularly interested because, unlike many dietary interventions, maitake's effect on brain inflammation markers was measurable within weeks rather than months, suggesting it is an active and relatively fast-acting protective food rather than a slow background effect. How to eat it. Maitake mushrooms are available fresh in many supermarkets and health food stores, increasingly alongside shiitake and oyster mushrooms. Also available dried in Asian supermarkets. Tear into pieces and pan-fry with a little oil and soy sauce. Add to soups and rice dishes, or cook in tempura batter. 4. One of the most distinctively Japanese foods in existence, and one that most Western women have seen in Japanese restaurants without knowing what it was or why Japanese women eat one every single day. Umeboshi. Umeboshi is a small pickled plum, wrinkled, deep pink or red, and intensely flavored. The sourness and saltiness are significant. It is not a food most Western palates find immediately appealing. But in Japan, it is eaten daily by millions of women over 60. One plum placed in the center of a bowl of rice at breakfast, eaten as part of a bento lunch, or taken as a daily health food. It has been eaten in Japan for over 1,000 years. The specific compound in umeboshi that caught the attention of dementia researchers is called mumefudal, a compound unique to Japanese plum that is produced specifically during the pickling process and found in no other commonly eaten food. Mumefudal has been shown to increase blood flow to the brain measurably, and it is the mechanism of this blood flow increase that connects it to dementia risk reduction. Think of the brain as a city that needs a constant and reliable supply of deliveries: oxygen, fuel, and waste collection services. When blood flow to the brain is fully efficient, all deliveries arrive on time, and all waste is collected promptly. When blood flow is even slightly reduced, as it naturally tends to become after 60, some deliveries are late. Some waste lingers longer than it should. Over years and decades, this adds up. Mumefudal from umeboshi helps keep the brain's delivery system running efficiently, maintaining blood flow at the level the brain needs to keep its own waste clearance and cell maintenance systems working properly. Researchers at Wakayama University, where Japanese plum has been studied extensively, found that regular umeboshi consumption was associated with measurably better cerebral blood flow and significantly lower markers of cognitive decline in adults over 65. How to eat it. Umeboshi is available in Asian supermarkets in jars or packages. Look for the whole pickled plum rather than processed umeboshi paste for maximum benefit. 1 plum per day alongside rice or any meal. The flavor is strong. It is used as a condiment rather than eaten as a fruit. Start with half a plum if the intensity is unfamiliar. 5. The most accessible on this list, and the one that doctors point to as having the most direct evidence for reducing the specific physical process most associated with dementia. Tuna, maguro in Japan. Tuna is central to Japanese food culture, eaten as sashimi, in sushi, in rice bowls, in sandwiches, simmered in soy and ginger, and consumed in the canned form that is now available in every supermarket worldwide. Japanese women eat tuna regularly across all preparations. It is ordinary, accessible, and completely unremarkable in Japan. Tuna contains the highest concentration of DHA, the specific brain-protective fatty acid of any commonly eaten fish. DHA makes up a significant portion of the brain's own structure, particularly in the areas responsible for memory, learning, and cognitive function. The brain uses it as a building material for cell membranes, and as a raw ingredient for the compounds that regulate how brain cells communicate with each other. In the context of dementia specifically, DHA does something very direct. The sticky deposits that accumulate in the brain over decades, the same ones we discussed in the Seaweed section, form partly because of a specific process in brain cells that produces them as a byproduct. DHA from tuna directly interferes with this production process, reducing the rate at which these deposits form in the first place. Think of it like reducing the rate of traffic in a city. Fewer vehicles means less congestion. Less congestion means the waste collection system can do its job properly. DHA reduces the production of the deposits, giving the brain's own waste system a more manageable workload. A major review published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, analyzing data from over 20 separate studies, found that higher dietary DHA intake was consistently associated with significantly lower risk of developing dementia in adults over 60. The relationship was one of the most robust and consistent findings in nutritional dementia research. How to eat it. Fresh tuna as sashimi or seared, the Japanese preparation. Canned tuna in water 2 to 3 times per week as the minimum. Tuna steak grilled simply. The fresher the better, but canned tuna retains meaningful DHA levels. Available everywhere. One of the most studied brain protective foods in existence. 5 common Japanese foods. Eaten every day in one of the countries with the lowest dementia rates in the world, and the research behind each one growing stronger every year. 5 ways of reducing risk. The research is clear. What we eat after 60 matters more than most of us have been told. Subscribe for new brain health videos. Leave a comment. Which of these 5 are you already eating? I will see you at the next video. Stay sharp.